If you're looking to move to the city, make sure you watch to the end of the video because the last point is crucial in your final decision. Toronto is the largest city in Canada, and because of this, it's a popular attraction for tourists, students, and working professionals alike. There are many great things about the city, but at the same time, there are many challenges that residents can face when moving here. Pro number one is cultural diversity. Toronto is home to people from all over the world. We're known for our multiculturalism. In fact, Toronto is ranked as the most multicultural city in the entire world. And because of this, it's a very exciting and vibrant place to live. We have a wide variety of food, music, and cultural events. In terms of cultural events, one example is the Toronto Caribbean Carnival, formerly known as Caravana if you lived here before, which brings millions of people to the city every summer in about August. We also have the Toronto Pride Festival, that's every June. In terms of arts, there's the Toronto International Film Festival, which is one of the largest film festivals in the entire world, which brings lots of tourists as well as Hollywood stars here every September or so. As far as a local favorite, Nuit Blanche is an all-night contemporary art exhibition which covers the city in art exhibits, performances, and art installations every October. Pro number two is job opportunities. Toronto is the economic hub of Canada, with many large companies having a home base here. Most notable tech companies that have a home here are Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Shopify, and Uber. This provides many job opportunities, specifically in the realms of finance, tech, and healthcare. Now, this is great for someone moving to the area. Aside from the job opportunity itself, with all these big companies having head offices here and many people moving here for work, you can be sure that the city is always going to invest and continuously invest in development in order to accommodate the needs of more people. Now, if you're an investor, all these people will need housing. So there's going to be a consistent demand for housing in the city, whether it's rental or purchasing. So as an investor, you can be sure there's always going to be a demand for housing to accommodate the large influx of people coming to the city. And pro number three is public transportation. And despite what many locals may say or complain about, Toronto does have a well-developed transportation system in the TTC. We have subway, streetcars, and buses that'll take you anywhere you need to go in the city. And for more of an eco-friendly way to get around, there is the Toronto Bike Share program and many biking paths and trails that allow you to get around the city on two wheels. Pro number four is access to nature. Despite Toronto being a very large city, it's surrounded by natural beauty, such as Lake Ontario, the Toronto Islands, lots of parks and conservation areas. In fact, me and my wife, one of our favorite things to do in the summertime is to take our kids, take our dog to parks and hikes and trails just outside of the city, beaches, just for day trips. It's very easy to hop on the highway, go for a day trip, go for a 60 to 90 minute drive, and be able to visit these parks and conservation areas just outside the city limits. So you get accessibility to green space, outdoor activities, even though you live in the downtown core. Pro number five is entertainment options. Toronto is home to many entertainment options, including theaters, museums, art galleries, sports venues, and music venues. You could take in a play or a musical on a summer night before dining to live music on King West. You could visit the art gallery or the ROM before shopping on Yorkville, or you can take in one of the professional sports teams in the Toronto Raptors or a Blue Jays game. There's always something to do regardless of your interests. And now onto the cons. Con number one is the high cost of living. Toronto is one of the most expensive cities to live in Canada. In fact, it's ranked number two as the second most expensive city to live in the entire country. With high housing prices, food costs, and transportation costs, it can be quite challenging for most people to live here. As of right now, it's estimated that the cost of living for one person in the city is just over $4,000 a month in expenses. Keep in mind though, the farther you get from the downtown core, going outward, the more affordable generally the cost of living becomes. Con number 2 is traffic. And in Toronto, just as with every large city, traffic is something that you may have to deal with. And it can be quite frustrating, especially if it's during rush hour or peak season travel times. As an example, the DVP, the Don Valley Parkway, is an arterial roadway that goes pretty much from the north side of North York, which is in North Toronto, all the way down to the downtown core, and it can be quite heavily backed up, especially during rush hour, or when there are big events happening in the downtown core, such as a Blue Jays game, a Toronto Raptors game. Everyone's trying to get into the city. That is one of the main ways to get into downtown, and it can become crazy backed up. There are also a lot of events that run on that roadway, such as marathons or bike events. Con number 3 is crowded public spaces. As with every large city that is a tourist destination, there are certain times of the year that Toronto gets really busy. And this can mean that beaches, public areas, malls, places that you would normally visit get really packed, and you won't be able to find places to sit. It could be not as enjoyable to visit these places. Parking, travel times can increase, transportation times such as the bus or the subway, the wait times will greatly increase. So as a resident, you want to make sure that you're looking at what events are going on, being knowledgeable about when peak season is. For us, it's generally the summer. Being a 4-season city, winter is not at all that busy. Fall and spring being normal, but because, like I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of global events, especially in the summertime, summer, early fall, that's when the city is the busiest. And you do want to plan ahead as a resident to make sure that you're not running into frustration with parking, transportation, long wait times. Con number 4 is crime. Toronto, like every other major city in the world, has areas that are safer than others and areas that you'll want to avoid because of crime. It's always best as a resident or a tourist or a visitor to make sure that you're aware of your surroundings and plan your trips, travel, and where you're living accordingly. And the last one, con number 5, and this is the one I mentioned in the beginning of the video to stay tuned for, is harsh winter and weather conditions. Toronto, be it that we live in Canada, is a 4-season city. We have spring, summer, fall, and winter, and our winters can be cold and harsh and long. So it goes generally from November to mid to late March, where we do have some periods of extremely cold temperatures. We have generally about 2 to 3 major snowstorms per winter season, which can affect your quality of life. Traveling is more difficult. You'll have to spend more time indoors. People get more sick more often, and the absence of sunlight can really affect people with seasonal affective disorder? With seasonal depression. So you want to make sure to be taking your vitamin D and being prepared for those winters. If you're someone who wants to be outside in warm weather year-round or for most of the year, Toronto may not be the best option for you. But if you enjoy winter sports, you're okay with being inside and having some sort of winter, Toronto can be a great choice because, just like I mentioned earlier in the video, we have no shortage of entertainment options. So even if it's cold, there are plenty of ways to get around transportation-wise, such as the subway, the PATH system, which is an underground walking pathway, which covers a lot of downtown. So you can walk around and still have access to shops and a lot of major tourist destinations that way. And plenty of options such as Ripley's Aquarium, the Eaton Center, many malls, the CN Tower, all will be open. Plenty of indoor activities to do when it's winter here in the city. So there you have it. Those are the pros and cons of living in Toronto. If you're looking to move here, or you have questions, or you need help looking, I am a real estate agent. My name's ssinnapan. You can reach me down below here. Here's my contact info. I'll leave it in the description as well. I'd be happy to help you with your move or your sale of a property in Toronto. I've lived here all my life, so I know the ins and outs of the city. And again, I'm always happy to help people moving here for the first time because I love the city and I would love to pass that love for my city onto you, and that knowledge onto you to make it a more enjoyable time, and really show you what it's like to live here and all the benefits of living here. So again, my name's ssinnapan. I hope you found this video helpful. Hit the like button if you did find this helpful. Subscribe for more Toronto-based real estate content, and I'll see you in the next video.